Hit that like button, folks, because you like us. You like us a lot.
Like us a little bit, still hit the like button.
If you like us, you can leave a comment too. Hey, what it do? What it do? What's going on, folks?
Leave a comment, dude. Now we're getting saucy. Leave a comment.
Oh, don't do that. Don't. that would just be completely unnecessary. So I was told last time that my audio sounded like a helicopter, right? And then I got a little emotional towards Amanda. Does my audio sound like a helicopter today, Jay?
No, it does not. I think it was just having to do with the whole not having the headphones in thing. I think that was pretty much it.
Oh yeah, I'm. If you're gonna give me a nickname on the show, it's Mr. Technical Difficulty. You know, I just live in that avenue. And so California has been a little hot, right? So, we live in this summer heat, which, it's not too bad right now. I mean, I know you've moved a little bit more south down towards the border a little bit, South, I guess, is that way. Technically it's not that way because that's straight down to hell. But yeah, I put a couple fans on me in this, nice little office setup I have. You could see, the breeze up there is blowing my little, my kukui nuts that I got from Hawaii.
Love it.
That I got from Hawaii. So if there is a little bit of reverberation of the wind, I apologize. But if I will not apologize for what Jay and I are about to do to you folks. We're about to we're just about to lay into you guys. We're for a better term, we're about to give it to you guys. And I'm not just being obnoxious here. I'm telling you, we're extremely smart. That's one, and we're hysterically stupid. That's two, and we're funny, right? So we're laying it in today, Jay. This is court sessions. This is our 19th court sessions. When we do 100 of these, I'll give away the merch that we haven't made yet.
NBA playoffs, bro. NBA playoffs. So it's just gonna be a bunch of court sessions,
What's going on, Elizabeth? And hello, Ryan.
What up, Ryan?
How you doing today, Ryan? Tell me all about your life in 10 words or less. That's all you get, because I don't got. We run long on these shows, right? So you gotta give it to us a little quicker than that.
Giannis is in today. Giannis is in today, boys. Y'all know that.
And Giannis is about to give it to the Suns potentially today. So we'll see how that shakes out. I had a lot of innuendos if you missed the first 3 minutes here, Ryan, or 2.5 minutes, so just bear with me, because I'm probably treading towards being even more ridiculous or settling down. We'll see. I'm not a grown man or anything. I can make these these little slight humorous jokes about anatomy and stuff like that.
The more ridiculous the better with Asa normally. Pretty funny. Yeah.
Yep. So today is court sessions. Like I said, we're going to be talking about, you guessed it, the NBA Finals, which start in about 15 minutes here, Jay.
Yep.
You excited for that?
Pretty excited. I mean, it's a good matchup. I'm glad that Giannis is in. Hopefully he's somewhat close to healthy. We've seen a lot of people get injured, as we've talked about, I feel like ad nauseum so far on all the court sessions. So I like to see that both teams are healthy heading into the finals. I had it all revved up to say, look, if you look at the Suns' run, they've had a substantial player missing in every series that they've played for the opposing team. But, now that Giannis is in, if Giannis looks good, then I can't use that argument. But I'll sure use it for the Western Conference, because everyone they played in the Western Conference was missing somebody.
Yeah, so I was very impressed with how the Suns have kind of beat the narrative, right? But that's something that I didn't even think about, right? That every series so far, they've literally have been able to just be healthier than the other team, right? And Chris Paul was hurt, mind you, but so it was kind of offset by AD being hurt, but also LeBron being hurt. So even the Lakers series, you kind of have to you would have to give some advantage to the Suns there. So yeah, the series starts tonight. We'll talk all about that. Essentially, the show is just focused on that. If you guys got anything else you want to talk about Shohei Ohtani, we can give you a couple quick thoughts here. So I'm doing well. Work is over. Bam, 10 words. Yeah, good job, man. That was
nice.
Nine words with an ellipses there. Good job, man.
That away.
I'm all about it. Okay, so we're doing well too. So on the top of today's show, we're gonna get into I'm gonna ask you a little bit about this team versus that team. We're gonna compare a little bit of history versus now, and then we'll do some ranks, kind of, sorta. I'm gonna ask about some storylines that are kind of all centered in this NBA Finals, and you give me your thoughts, Jane. Maybe I'll sneak a few in there too. But first, if you guys are watching this in the future, and your name's not Ryan, Amanda, Alyssa, Sabrina, or Elizabeth, follow us. We are on at the AJA Sports Show. You can follow us there on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. We don't have a Snapchat, so if anybody is posing as me, then I'm sorry.
On Snapchat.
That's not this handsome devil. That's my lookalike. And then, that would be great. So we appreciate you guys, for always watching and tuning in, and i.e. Ryan and the crew. So without further ado, Jay, let's talk about this team or that team. And what I really want to know is, I'm going to give you some stats. I'm going to roll out with hey, this is what we're looking at now. This is what we saw with this team then, right? So the Suns and the Bucks. This is not their first time in the finals, although that would be pretty interesting. We have two teams that have made it to the finals before. The Suns have never won. The Bucks did win a title back in '71 with a pretty good team. With two perennial top 25 players of all time. Mm-hmm. When the Suns made it to the finals in '93 with Charles Barkley, I would say he's probably top 50 all time. So I mean, they had an opportunity there. They did lose to the Boston Celtics in that series. I'm sorry, they lost to the Chicago Bulls. Sorry. The Bucks lost to the Celtics. So, I mean, the Celtics had Havlicek, which that was the last team that beat the Bucks in the finals, and then the Suns ran into Michael Jordan. So, Havlicek and Jordan, I mean, those are two great, top 20 players of all time, right? So, they both kind of hit the piece de resistance. So, a little bit of background about these teams, right? Because they're both born the same year, 1968. And what's kind of hilarious is that, back then, this is when there was only 8 teams in the league. So they flipped a coin, because that's how they did it back then, to see who was going to draft first. The Bucks won the toss, and they were able to pick Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The Suns, I don't know who they picked, but they didn't pick Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
It wasn't Kareem Abdul or Lou. Was he Lou Alcindor at that point? Probably, right?
Well, probably, yeah.
Right.
Most likely at that point, yeah.
That was the most confusing thing for me as a kid, is only knowing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and then when we went back into the history books, you see Lou Alcindor. I'm like, who the heck is this guy Lou Alcindor, and why is he so dominant, and why have I never heard of him? And it's because it's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Right, yeah, and we have a few players, or sports figures, prominent sports figures that have changed their names on us. Most recently, not because of a religious change, but Meta World Peace, I think, is the guy that we grew up who changed his name from Ron Artest. Snoop Lion, I think, is another person out there. I don't even know if he actually changed his name to that, or that's just his nickname, but yeah, for sure. The Lou Alcindor. I think it was probably Kareem, but I don't know. When I looked it up on basketballreference.com, shout out to you guys, because you guys have all the crazy, ridiculous stats.
Seriously.
I was able to. It said Kareem, but
okay, there you go.
They might just be putting Kareem because they don't want to put two names. What's up, Andrew?
This dude, Andrew, man, in the hot tub, little Taco Tuesday, living the life. Going to Animal Kingdom tomorrow.
Are you in Florida? So
yeah, right.
You're in Florida, but you want more, warmth around you, so you go into a hot tub. That's top level. That's top notch right there.
Bro, when your Airbnb has a hot tub, bro, I'm in there all day, bro. I'm in there all day. I be getting pruny.
Pruny. That's not even a word, but that I get that. I feel the prunes.
Everyone knows what that is, right? I mean, everyone knows pruny. I ain't been in the pool too long. I remember when you used to have the pool at your fingers. You used to have that the pool at your guys' old apartment. I swear to you, we used to spend full days there, 8-9 hour days just at the pool.
Yeah. Having those. I don't even know what gets your body pruny, but having that all it feels like you're being dehydrated or something at that point.
Right. Yeah. You're in the water. You're in the water so much, you would assume that's the last thing that would happen, but it's literally the number one thing is you get dehydrated that day.
Right. Okay. So just a little bit further more about these two teams. Both coaches here we're seeing are both under the Popovich tree. They both actually have a title, right? So they both been with Greg Popovich, so he gets the title technically, but they're part of the coaching staff, so they technically have titles here, but no one else on the team does. And then these two teams did play in the playoffs once. This is when the Milwaukee Bucks were a part of the West before things have been reorganized with the introduction of 30 teams. The Bucks did win that series because it was a best out of 3. They won 2-0. And then one last little thing. I'm not 100% sure if they still do this. I think they do this for baseball, but Torrey Craig was traded from the... There's a freaking gnat flying around me. I'm going to lose my mind.
Get it, Ace.
Torrey Craig was traded from the Bucks to the Suns halfway through the season. Does he get a ring no matter what?
Yes, he does.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes, he does.
Torrey Craig, you lucky SOB, bro.
Yeah, Torrey Craig's getting the championship ring no matter what he does.
Right on.
Or what his team does, for that matter. He don't even play that much, but...
Yeah. He could be great. He could be not great. He's still going to get a ring, so who cares about that, right?
Yeah, it don't matter.
Okay. So let me bring up some stats here, Jay. Let me just talk about let's talk about the Suns first. So the Suns last made it to the finals in '93. They had, and I'm not going to list the whole roster: Charles Barkley, Kevin Johnson, Danny Ainge. Right. So we know some of these guys.
Yeah, pretty good players.
That team was in the playoffs. So just talking about playoffs here, they were third in offensive rating. Not bad. And then out of how many ever teams? I think the league was like at almost at 30 at that point. Still playoffs is 16 teams. They were 13 in defensive rating, so bottom of the 16 teams in defensive rating, and then they were third in pace, so pace of play. And then
what was their defensive rating again?
13. So 3 and 13.
You knew they weren't winning. You knew they weren't winning it, bro. You're not in the top 10. You're not winning a championship. That easy. Right.
So yeah, for sure. Especially against LeBron James, Michael Jordan. So. Barkley in the playoffs that year, he was wild. He was second in points overall, first in rebounds, third in steals, first in free throws made, first in win shares, so he most responsible player for his team. And then he was fifth in turnovers, so, he was doing the most of the ball, also turning it over here and there. And then Kevin Johnson was third in points, so they were 2 and 3 in points. Michael Jordan was first.
Go figure.
Yeah. Kevin Johnson was first in assists, fifth in steals, fifth in field goals made, third in free throws made, and first in turnovers. So they had the first and the fifth guy turning it over the ball the most. They also were, most responsible for the most points in the playoffs. So pretty decent team there. Did run into Michael Jordan, right? So just quick little thought about that team. I know you've technically we're not born yet, but you have any thoughts about the '93 Suns?
No. I do have some thoughts. Charles Barkley mentioned it the other day. The one thing that he regrets more than anything is that apparently he didn't get his team ready enough for Game 1. I don't know what he means by that exactly. Game 1 of any series is pretty pivotal. If you're able to steal one on the road, like the Hawks made a dang playoff run out of it, just winning the first game, and then they would get mopped the second game. But who cares? Because they stole home court advantage, so it doesn't matter.
Hold that thought. Ryan wanted 5 aces. I got to
for Torrey Craig. Absolutely. Yeah. Dude, if you get a ring no matter what, sign me up, bro. Jiminy Christmas, dude. I don't know. I don't remember. I'm not gonna say something I don't remember, but I think last year someone had that happen as well. That someone won a ring no matter what. I'll think about it. I'll go do a quick little gurgle here in a minute and we'll figure it out. But yeah. Charles Barkley was talking about it the other day on their TNT show that he wished he got his team more ready for Game 1. If you come out in Game 1 and get punched in the mouth, it's real demoralizing, bro. Especially if you're the road team. You're dropping both right away. Unless you can just you're one of those teams that can rub it off and regroup and just say, hey, we got our arses kicked in Game 1, Game 2 is fresh, and you can see it from a whole outlook like that. But Game 1 is, I feel like it's more pivotal for the home team. No, Ace, don't you?
Oh yeah, because it's all about pressure, especially
Right.
especially when you're talking about teams that haven't had a long history of winning the title. So you gotta,
Right.
you, yeah, I mean, it goes from pressure is already on you, but it could feel overwhelming. So
Right.
yeah,
Right.
no, for sure.
Yeah.
And then the '93 Suns, they lost to the Bulls, right? So
Yep.
I think it was in 6 games, four games to two. Uh,
I'm
the
surprised they got two. To be honest, Mike was just so
right.
ridiculous at that time. It didn't matter.
So if you had to, would you rather have this team that I'm about to tell you? This is the 21 team, or would you rather have that team? So let me give you a little bit of a background about this year's Suns playoff team. So this is all stuff from the playoffs. So we're not going regular season stats here.
Right.
So far these playoffs, the Suns have been rated number 2 in defense, number 10 in offense, and their pace of play is a little slower. It's at 12. So it's a little, that's interesting to me at least. And then Devin Booker is 3rd in points, 4th in field goals, 3rd in free throws, 3rd in turnovers. So he kind of it kind of goes with the territory of getting the ball so damn much. And then Chris Paul is 3rd in assists and 5th in offensive win shares. So he's top 5 in his team's offensive abilities. And then I have Ayton here too. He's 3rd in rebounds per game, 2nd in offensive rebounds. I think he's pulled down like 63 of those or something like that. And then he's shooting 70%, which is 3rd best. Mind you, it's not like Rudy Gobert was a little higher, and some other dude that I don't remember, and the other dude that was number 2 barely played a couple games.
Right.
So he's pretty much number 2 there. And then Aiden actually he's most responsible for the Suns winning. He's number 1 in win shares overall in the playoffs so far. And I've kind of mentioned that too. I was like, if DeAndre Aiden goes off, the Suns usually win. And we saw that in this Lakers series. We saw that in the Nuggets series. We saw in games in which they lost in this last series against the Clippers, where Aiden couldn't do anything again without a Zubac in the lineup, and with Kawhi missing, Aiden didn't take responsibility of a game, and then they lost. I think they dropped the 5th game there or the 4th game due to his bad play. So so that's kind of where this team is at. So 2 in defense, 10 in offense. Would you rather have the 93 Suns with Barkley at the helm, or would you rather have the 21 Suns with Chris Paul at the helm?
I would much rather have the 21 Suns, I think. Charles Barkley is probably a better overall player than both Devin Booker and Chris Paul right now when he was playing back then in that finals. I mean, people make fun of Charles Barkley now because he's big and funny, but he was unbelievable. I mean, if he got a title, he'd be like a top 15 player ever. I mean, if he won one title, probably. So,
Right.
yeah, I would still definitely say the 21 Suns, though. I think they're just more well-rounded. There's guys like Cam Johnson and Cam Payne, and, obviously they have Mikal Bridges who starts for them. They all are really long. They all shoot the ball really well. They all play really good defense. I don't really mind the Suns not being super efficient offensively. I mean, you said they were 10th. And I don't really mind the pace slowing down, because in the playoffs, it's not really imperative that, you have a high pace of play to begin with. The Milwaukee Bucks is a team that were running up and down the floor the entire regular season. And, they still do that, comparatively to what other teams do in the playoffs, because that's what they're good at and that's where they excel. And, you obviously you still want to continue to do the things that got you where you are. But half-court offense is so much more imperative in the playoffs, and defense is so much more imperative in the playoffs, that I think having those advantages gives the 21 Suns an advantage over those older time Suns.
No, it makes sense. I'm probably with you too. I think the 2 young. I'd rather have 2 really young guys in Aiden and Booker, and then have the veteran Chris Paul kind of round out that bunch.
Exactly.
Rather than have a little older Barkley, pushing it with a pretty decent Kevin Johnson, but both of them were still still not the youngest at that time, and Danny Ainge wasn't young either. So the 93 Suns obviously didn't have much of a chance against the Chicago Bulls with Michael Jordan. However, if I'd still rather have this Suns team even against the 93 Bulls. I'd rather have this Suns team against this 21 Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah. So you mentioned how important. Hey, Amanda. You mentioned how important DeAndre Ayton's play has been to the Suns this postseason. Now, I don't know if he's going to be the most impactful player, but I think his play is going to be really decisive here. Brook Lopez is not a rebounding center, right? Like, we know that. But who does rebound is Giannis. And if Giannis is able to control the boards and keep DeAndre Ayton, I mean, DeAndre Ayton is shooting 70% from the field because he's shooting dunks and alley-oops and little baby hooks when he's wide open or mismatched against the, because
game winners where he just puts it into the net.
Oh, dude, I didn't. I thought I like, I think of myself as a pretty well-rounded basketball aficionado, and I did not know that. Like, the second that happened, I was like, wait a second, that's offensive interference. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute, you can do that on an inbound. Like, it made me like totally rethink my basketball knowledge. But I mean, between Devin Booker and Chris Paul, Devin Booker played a ton of point guard last year. So people, obviously he's really good as a 2, and he's an amazing scorer. But he can run the point. Obviously not like point guard Chris Paul, but dude can run the point. He's been doing it for a long time. Last 2 years in Phoenix, he was the ball handler. He was basically their, quote unquote point guard. So they have both Devin Booker and Chris Paul, who both run the pick and roll ridiculously well, see the floor off the pick and roll ridiculously well, and are able to identify mismatches and angles to make the best shot for their teammates, even though their teammates obviously may not be of their caliber to where they're in a good position to succeed and make those shots. And I mean, not that DeAndre Ayton's not a great player, because I mean, he was an early draft pick. I think he was like the second pick in the draft. Might have been the first, now that I think about it. He was the first.
They passed up on Luka.
Yeah, they passed him on. Talk to Atlanta. Well, Atlanta's not looking too bad, actually, with Trae Young. Trae Young's looking pretty damn good, too. But, yeah, so I'm curious to see how DeAndre Ayton plays a factor into this. Now, the Bucks' offense was really able to open up in that time, and, I mean, this may seem blasphemous to say it, when Giannis was off the floor, because there was only one player who was really dominating the paint, right? Brook Lopez is 7 feet and shoots a three-pointer. But you don't want Brook Lopez shooting nothing but 3-pointers. So once Giannis came off the floor and it was just Brook Lopez in the middle, it made it a lot easier for Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton to operate, because it gets a little congested in there. I mean, if Giannis is anywhere beyond the free throw line, you basically don't have to guard him. Like, I mean, as long as you have someone in the paint, you're not really worried about him shooting the ball or anything like that. Let him go. He's got the worst 3-point shooting percentage in NBA history in the playoffs. So yeah. I just think it's going to be interesting to see what DeAndre Ayton does, see if he can continue that dominance in the paint. We'll get to our predictions later, but I personally don't. I think if Giannis is playing, the Bucks are going to win. So,
yeah, I kind of sway that way too. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Bucks now, right? So the 74 Bucks last time they made the finals, and then the 21 Bucks. So the 74 Bucks had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Oscar Robinson. Oscar was older. Kareem was like in his mid-20s at this point. So Oscar was kind of on the back end of his career. And then this pair had won the title in 71. So they won in 71. They lost in 74. And that's the only 2 times the Bucks have been to the finals. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar obviously moved on to the Los Angeles Lakers.
One a few over there.
And then Oscar Robertson retired. So this was all about Kareem. Oscar was first in assists in the playoffs in 74, and that's really all he kind of like was able to like hit on. He averaged overall 12 and 8, so he played like the 3rd or 4th most minutes on that team, but wasn't responsible necessarily for the most. And then maybe that's kind of the reason why you lost, because maybe you're not getting as much anymore out of Oscar. He wasn't a rebounder anymore. He was still facilitating. I think he was 35 years old, so getting up there.
Yeah.
And then obviously, training regimens and all that stuff are not the same nowadays versus back in the day, right? And in the mid 70s, there wasn't as much competition because the season like overall was shorter and there wasn't as many teams. However, the amount of work that goes into players' bodies is ridiculous now. Russell Wilson spends $1 million each offseason to like get little tiny nano robots to like massage his nerve endings, and I mean, it doesn't hurt that his wife is gorgeous, and I mean, well, honey, I love you more than anything, and you're the most beautiful woman in the world, so don't get anything in your head. Okay. So Here's Kareem. This mofo was fucking wild. He was first in points, first in rebounds, first in blocks, first in field goals made, first in win shares, first in defensive rating, and he was fourth in assists. So he wasn't just doing it points and he was doing it defensively, and he was also freaking assisting the ball. So really freaking impressive. That team will had Kareem and Oscar, who were number 1 and 4 in assists for that playoff series. So pretty good. And I'm gonna read off the 21 Bucks to you here. So so far this postseason, the Bucks have been defensive rating number 1. So the Bucks have been the best defensive team in this playoff. They're also offense 11, so it's very close. The Suns are number 2 defense and number 10 offense. The Bucks are number 1 defense and number 11 offense. So they're literally just like 1 and 1 next to each other. I'll sleep on the couch tonight. Nah, just kidding. We don't do that shit in this household. Okay, and then to rail off a little bit about the players here. Giannis is number 1 in rebounds, I think per game, because he's missed a couple of games. Otherwise, he'd probably be number 1 in rebounds too. Yeah. Number 1 in 2-point percentage, because he obviously he's trash from 3. He's made the most field goals, and he's also. I got a new game, Kareem or Otani. Oh, dude.
There you go. That's that. Now we're starting to talk.
Okay, next show we'll do something like that. And then so far Giannis is the best defensive rating. He's number 1 in defensive rating so far this playoffs. Middleton is number 1 in defensive win shares. So although he's not the highest in defensive rating, that rates all your games individually based off of your defensive performance. Middleton is technically the best for like translating that into wins for the team. And then Giannis is number 2. So like they're really neck and neck there. And then also they literally own the top 5 because Drew Holiday is number 3, Brook Lopez is number 5. So 1 through 5, they're only missing number 4 in terms of this team plays a little bit of defense, they win the freaking game. And then Brook Lopez has the most blocks this postseason, which surprised me. He has 30 blocks. That's like 11 more than DeAndre Ayton on the other side of this equation here. Holiday is number 2 in assists, and then Middleton and Holiday together have 51 steals so far this postseason. So just a couple of cool stats there. So would you rather have Kareem and Oscar, or would you rather have Giannis, Middleton, and Giannis and Middleton? We'll just leave it at that. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd probably still say the Bucks this year. I'm not trying to play like recency bias. Like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was unbelievable, but when you look at their number 2, I'd much rather have Chris Middleton than Oscar Robertson. And then when you pick number 3, whoever the heck they had, I would much rather have Drew Holiday. We talked about this when
would you rather have Otani?
I'll take Otani over everybody pretty much right now. I mean, this dude's just unbelievable. But no, yeah, dude. I mean, literally, the Bucks right now. We kind of saw this coming. I had them making it to the NBA Finals back when the playoffs first started. Playing the Lakers, obviously that didn't come to fruition. But the Bucks were always a team that I knew were capable of this. I mean, obviously Giannis is one of the best players on the planet. He's probably the 3rd or 4th best player in the NBA. I mean, and I really think, and this was my guy, fourth. You got Kawhi over him. Is that why?
Yeah.
Because it's KD LeBron, right? Hold on, sorry, LeBron KD. I don't even want to remotely get that anywhere twisted.
LeBron until he leaves is the technical best player in the league.
Absolutely, always.
Then it's KD, and then it's Kawhi. And then I'm really close on Curry or Giannis next. I'm really close on that.
Oh, man. I think it's Giannis, personally. But that's just my bias.
Okay.
I bet Otani can make some threes. Dude, 6'4", 210. I mean...
You put him out there.
Yeah, he's probably going to have to play point guard. I mean, at 6... Isn't that crazy? Like, when he's on a baseball field, you're like, holy crap, Shohei's huge, huh?
Oh,
he's 6'4".
Next Baseball Buzz episode, there's a clip of him hitting a home run out of a stadium. It literally hits the roof of the some Tokyo Dome. It goes through the freaking roof. Like
Jesus, bro.
There's a hole in the roof, and the ball goes through it. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, but if you put so like Otani looks huge on a baseball field. If you put him on an NBA court, he's a pipsqueak. I mean, he's an actual pipsqueak.
Right.
Like
right.
Giannis is literally 7 feet tall. Like
Yeah.
Giannis has a full 7 inches on Shohei Ohtani, and Shohei Ohtani looks like a freak. So
I mean, one of my favorite Asian players from China, Yao Ming, he was like 7'6",
oh,
7'7"?
yeah, he was like 7. I think he was officially listed like at 7'6" or something.
Oh my God, yeah,
Did
yeah.
you, did you ever hear the story of Shaq that Shaq talked about? It was his first time ever hearing Yao Ming talk.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Was this in his Hall of Fame induction? I think that's
No,
what it was.
no. That's when he said it. Yeah, that's when he talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was like during a game one time, and Yao Ming hit him with like a little dream shake and a little hook shot, and then running down the court, Shaq was like, "Good shot," and then Yao just replies, "Thanks, Shaq." And then Shaq's like, "What the hell, Yao? We've been playing against each other for 5 years. You've never said a word to me. Why haven't you ever said anything? I didn't know you could speak English." And Yao's like, "Well, Shaq, you've never talked to me, so I never said anything."
That literally reminds me from Rush Hour, where Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan, first are interacting with each other, and Chris Tucker's being like, like ridiculously like a little implied racist here because he's like trying to talk to him like slowly, like, "Do you understand me?" And then they carry that joke back and forth to each other, and then I think on the very end, like end credits wise, like Jackie Chan says. Chris Tucker says something in Chinese, and then Jackie Chan's like, "Excuse me," but yeah, it was
That's
funny.
hilarious.
Rush Hour is
Rush Hour is great.
one of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh,
okay,
that's funny.
So I'm gonna disagree with you. I'd rather have the $74, and then the reason I would rather have the $74 is just obviously because you have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Right.
And I can't get over the fact that Kareem is on this team, and for what it's worth, like his production was wild because he's oh my God, he's like the number 2 center of all time, number 1. I don't even know. Like, I mean, that's a discussion for another day during the NBA offseason. But yeah, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar all day for me. I do love Giannis. Again, like you said, maybe I'm not as high on him as you are. Still top 5 player in the league. I'd probably put Curry above him, but that's not a disrespect to Giannis. That's a respect to Curry, who's won 3, shoots it from a different galaxy, has changed and developed the game into what we see it now. So I mad props to Steph, the chef Curry. But yeah, I mean, it's
yeah. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Ain't nobody understand the words that are coming out of your mouth. Oh, that was like in the middle too, I think. Oh man! Oh, we're gonna have a Rush Hour party after we watch the Sandlot together.
After we watch Sandlot, yeah, exactly. Get a man.
Do we gotta get on Twitch for something like that? We'll figure.
I'm down. Yeah.
We'll do some research. Okay, so that kind of wraps up this segment. So the teams, either way you cut it, I think we're looking at 2 pretty like close teams here, and then we have a score update. The game started. The Bucks are up 3-2. Brook Lopez just made a shot. I think they hit a free throw. I don't know if Giannis missed because it was Chris Middleton.
Nice.
So yeah,
Chris Middleton missed a free throw.
Right, he's their best free throw shooter too.
97% free throw shooter.
So okay. So let's get into the next part of our show, and then this is something we like to call this. Okay.
I love how it says, "Let's rank something." What are we gonna rank? I don't know. Something.
Yeah, something. Ryan, you're reminding me of my godfather. His
I was just gonna say that.
Whenever something happens, like in the very first few minutes of a game, let's say the Lakers score a bucket or the Lakers allow a bucket, game's over. Don't need to watch the rest of this game.
Yeah. My dad, if someone scores a run on the Dodgers in the first inning, he's like, "That's it. It's over. Just call it. Game's over. We're Dodgers gonna lose." I'm like, "That's the first inning, bro. Slow down, Jiminy."
Yeah. You freaking idea. Okay. So I have a bunch of storylines here. Please interact in the comments. Let us know what you guys think too, because Jay's gonna give you his opinion, and his opinion's not always the best. So I'm just messing. All right, Jay. So we have Giannis playing today, and so I'm gonna just throw out the first one. The first one was was, do the Bucks lose without Giannis healthy? So that's the first kind of storyline we had. He's playing, so implies some form of health, even maybe not, even though he's probably not 100%. So let's just we'll push that one to the side. Yeah, famous words by my Nino for sure. Okay, so I want you to. I'm gonna shoot. Well, I don't know if this might be Amanda's first time participating in the aces. We rank thing on 1 to 5 aces here. So I'll throw out some. We'll throw out some. You give me a 1 to 5, and you kind of give me what your thoughts are. So Crowder is the only player with playoff experience. He did so with the Miami Heat. Is this? How big is this storyline?
It is kind of Jake Regis sometimes. He's the only one with finals experience, right?
NBA finals experience.
On either team, right?
On either team.
I'm going to go with 2 aces.
Why 2 aces?
I mean, because it's Jay Crowder, right? Like, I mean, he does what he does. He's a 3-and-D guy. I don't think that, you know, the spotlight's going to be too big for guys like Devin Booker and Chris Paul and Giannis and Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday. These are veterans. These are guys who have been in the league, played in big games before. Obviously not NBA Finals games, but big games nonetheless. So I don't really think that, you know, not having played in the finals is really going to affect these teams very much. And I also don't think it's going to give Jay Crowder any leg up that anyone else wouldn't really have. So. Right? They're great. Amanda, the other day he dropped it on us. We never seen it. And he dropped it on us. I swear to you, I almost peed in my pants. I was dying. I couldn't believe it. They're hilarious.
You hydrate like a award-winning horse over there. You got like coffee, water, and if it's a baseball episode, you might have an alcoholic beverage too. So
we got 3 drinks just splashed all in together, baby.
Okay. Rank this storyline. This is the Suns were the worst team they were in the NBA 3 years ago. Haven't made a playoff appearance for 10 years, right? So for a decade. This is their first time in the playoffs in 10 years. Tell me about that storyline.
I'm going to go 4 aces on that one.
4 aces.
Yep. 4 aces. Yeah. That's actually a pretty big deal. We kind of talked about it already. Their upswing that we all started to see in the bubble, right? They went 8-0 in the bubble and still didn't make it. They needed a few other teams to lose a few games. Didn't happen. But adding Monty, it just shows you, right? Phoenix was a team that people had been talking about for a little while when they had Eric Bledsoe and Goran Dragic. You know, they drafted Cam Johnson. Mikal Bridges was someone that they were very high on. And then obviously DeAndre Ayton. Getting Chris Paul and getting Monty Williams really came in and really overhauled that franchise. A lot of times when it comes to these teams, it's not like you need to have a full-on just reset, right? You don't need to full-on like knock it down and start from scratch. Sometimes you just need a few adjustments. We all knew Devin Booker was supremely talented. You bring in someone like Chris Paul who's striving for a championship. We've seen him make a few, have a few transitions over the last few years, and see himself in some different jerseys that we weren't usually accustomed to seeing. I definitely didn't see. I think I'd see Chris Paul play for 5 different teams by the time he was, finished with his career. So, seeing him at Phoenix, seeing him do well, and now seeing them in the finals, and I'm gonna preface all of this with saying that they're in the finals, and every single round, one of the best players from the team that they played was out. And we're gonna talk about this because I'm not gonna let this go unscathed. All you Laker haters wanted to talk about how big of an asterisk we got on the Lakers championship. You know damn well if the team that wins the championship and beats the Lakers wins the championship, the Phoenix Suns, I'm gonna be hounding and pounding doors and letting you know about Kawhi being out, LeBron being hurt, AD being hurt. I mean, Jamal Murray not playing. I mean, I have to.
So Jay told me this before the show, and I haven't showed this to Jay either. So we're debuting a lot of things live on today's show. I usually test to make sure my graphics and stuff work. We'll see if this one works. I'm sure it does. I'm awesome. So when Jay told me that before we hopped on, that kind of gave me I was like a little a moment of clarity, and that today, folks, is today's aha moment of the day. So I I did text Andrew to send me a selfie today, but he was in the hot tub, so I was
He's
like,
in the hot tub. Yeah, he's in the hot tub.
I was like, as much as we all love to have that, and you know, I'm sure a lot of us would. I just figured, you know, it's a family show. We sometimes say the F word, whatever. I don't know. You know, you could be rated G and say the F word once in a movie. So apparently that's us. We say the F word once on a show.
That was really good. Yeah, I like that.
So my thought here is the AHA AJA kind of. I know it's AHA, but like, you know, I married a Hispanic wife. You're 50% Mexican here, bro.
Yep.
So
yep.
you know, in Mexico we say the J's with the, you know, we say the H's with the J. So it's the AHA moment of the day. And thank you for enlightening me on that, because I was like, yeah, you're right. Like, the Suns have beat teams with major injuries. We kind of said it from the beginning. Right? The Suns, the Nuggets without Jamal, probably not going to win it all, right? And even though my fandom was trying to get Jokic to will there, I mean, I realistically figured the Suns would lose, but I wasn't going to choose the Nuggets, or choose against the Nuggets, yeah. Right. And then obviously my fandom for the Lakers wasn't going to pick against LeBron and company. And then this last series, Kawhi being out, I did think Kawhi was going to play, because I thought, like, you know, like with Kawhi and his injuries, they're always kind of like a little like so shady with us, but he actually didn't play, so that would have been an easy pick for the Suns if I needed to, but whatever. It's not about predictions, because
anyone who wants to look anyone in the face and try to explain or try to reason that the Suns are winning that series against the Lakers with Anthony Davis and LeBron healthy, I swear to you, come find me and I'll show you what time it is, bro. Okay? Because that's a bunch of malarkey. All right? The Lakers were obviously the better team with Anthony Davis healthy and LeBron at 60%. Clearly. It wasn't even freaking close. Wasn't close.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, bro.
Well, I know you are, but we got some ninnies out there, Ace. We got some real ninnies out there.
Apparently, I don't have access to taking my comments down. Can you take this comment down and move another one on?
Yep. What's wrong? What's with the G-rated podcast? Right? I know. Yeah. Everyone, tell your friends it's Barney over here.
Okay.
Who was hurt on the Lakers? Oh, no one was hurt on the Lakers, right? Yeah, fully healthy. As if we haven't talked about LeBron being out and AD being out enough, right? Oh my gosh, we lost Asa again. Let's go. Let's go.
It's not an AJA Sports Show episode if I don't lose some form of connectivity.
You were back lickety split right there, though, dude. I just barely got done laughing, because when I laugh, it takes me a second. So
we need to have protocol. I need to have like a 5-minute video. Please enjoy these messages. Well, Ace restarts his internet, and Jay does. Right. You know, Jay tries to sweet talk you into not leaving our broadcast.
Please.
The world may never know. It's always the worst times. Yeah, no, for sure. It's okay. Okay.
Ryan, I'm the world, Ryan, and we know. We know.
And yes, we are not a rated G podcast. I think Ryan was right. Sorry, I'm getting caught up here because I knew I was about to go out, and I was like, why can't I click buttons?
Yeah,
but you could still hear me, which was odd. I don't know if I was frozen. Who cares? Anyways, moving on. Okay. So the Suns were the worst team. You gave that 4. Perfect.
4.
Giannis. How is this storyline for you? Giannis, 2-time MVP, and he wins a title this year. Does he instantly become a top 25 player of all time? Like, how does that narrative sound to you?
I'm going to take it one step further. I'll give it a 3 aces. Great. I mean, he's approaching that territory, I would think, right? I mean, especially if he wins MVP of the finals. I mean, if he wins MVP of the finals and he got 2 MVPs, 2 regular season MVPs, his career averages, he averages 21 points, 9 rebounds, 4.5 assists. He's a 5-time All-Star, 4-time All-Defensive, an All-Star MVP, Most Improved Player, All-Rookie Team. I mean, Defensive Player of the Year 1 year, 5-time All-NBA selection. I mean, I think he really does vault into that top 25 status. I don't think it's really all that questionable if he gets the MVP and a finals. I mean,
Yeah, no, for sure, I agree with you. I don't know if I care so much that he becomes a top 25 player of all time because he still has a lot of years to play. But
right.
I probably rate it out of 3. I think that's a perfect rating. Yeah, Ryan, I had to mess around with the sounds because last time it was just the kids saying "yay," and then now everyone has a different sound. So
I love it.
If you want to hear 1 through 5, Jay's got to say 1 through 5. I think we've had a 1, 3, and a 4 so far.
Oh boy, here we go.
Here's another Giannis one. Okay, Giannis averaged 40 points against the Suns this year when they played, shooting 60%. The best average against the Suns in a season since, you guessed it, Michael Jordan did it to them in the 1993 season. What's this on a scale of 1 to 5 aces?
Wow. Well, now that he's playing, and I'll preface this later, I'm going to go 5. Yeah,
Yay!
5. Yeah, absolutely. So Giannis also torched the Nets in the regular season, and then proceeded to do the same thing in the playoffs.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know if there's just I think there's just teams that Giannis matches up better against. Obviously, for the sake of them trying to get in transition, Giannis in transition is a different animal, bro. Like between LeBron and Giannis, take your pick on who you'd rather have in transition. I think I would personally rather take LeBron just because of the passing ability a little bit more. But Giannis is right there, dude. And if he can get in transition against the Suns, which I know is real difficult because they play at one of the slowest pace in the playoffs, right? But yep. I mean, and what worries me is that he was able to do it in the regular season. And in the regular season, we talked about it. It's a lot about volume, right? Yep. And when you come into the playoffs, you start to see this stuff start to condense a lot like you see in baseball, right? In baseball, you see a lot of volume through the regular season. And then once you get into the postseason, it's about small ball, situational type plays, right? And Giannis is a real liability in the half court, like we were talking about earlier. If he's not handling the ball or setting a screen, there's very little for you he's doing in the half court. So if Giannis is able to continue what he was able to do versus the Suns in the regular season, I think there's a very good chance that they win this series. I personally think they do win this series. I think Giannis does play up to somewhat of that caliber, and the Bucks end up winning this series, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, we're tied right now, I think 18-18, so pretty close. DeAndre Ayton, 6 points, 3 for 3, 3 rebounds. So I'm sure they're getting high efficiency shots there since not watching the game with the rest of the world. Okay. CP3 could win a title this year. He'd join a group of players that have won it in their 16th year or later. That includes Juwan Howard in his 16th year, Jason Kidd in 17, Dwight Howard in 16, Gary Payton in 16. And then also as kind of a subplot to this, if he doesn't win and this series goes 7 games, he'll be the player he'll have played the most playoff games in NBA history without winning a title. Rank that storyline.
That's a 5 ace, easy.
Oh, sorry. I gotta go.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I was waiting. I was like, here it comes.
Yay!
Booyah! Yeah. So number one, to win a finals after your 16th year, everyone you mentioned there was scrubs. I mean, scrubs or playing like minimal roles. Chris Paul would be the first one to do it, and obviously be the starting point guard and be the main catalyst for his team to do so. I mean, you can argue Devin Booker, but I'm not going to split hairs between Devin Booker and Chris Paul. They're both, unbelievably important to the Phoenix Suns' success. What I would say is that if getting a championship does so much more for his legacy than it does negatively against his legacy. Like that stat that he would have played the most games in NBA history without winning a championship is damn brutal. But what the pros for him winning one would do, I think outweigh that substantially. Not that I feel bad for him because Chris Paul is a guy who's always gotten under my skin. I feel like if he came to LA and played with Kobe, I would probably look at him a little bit differently. But because he didn't, he is who he is.
I hated him in the first round. I think it's a big deal because if we go back maybe like 6 weeks, I was even saying on this show, I was like, Chris Paul is not a top 5 point guard of all time until he wins a ring. So I'll put him in top 5 if he wins a ring. So I'll stick to my word. If he does, I'll put him in there. I know you and Andrew thought I was being a little bit ridiculous there, and yes and no. Like, I know that point guards are not just about statistics; they're also about rings, but they're also about what they've contributed to the game, and Chris Paul has been in this league for a while, so like I give him mad props for that, but I'd even give him more mad props if he wins a title.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's I feel like that's the consensus, right? Like, if he wins a title, it just puts him in. I mean, he's probably a top 5 point guard if he wins a title. I mean, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
right?
for sure,
So,
for sure.
yeah.
Okay. Got a couple more of these rankings, and then we'll just wrap up real quick with predictions here. The number 3 seed has always beaten the number 2 seed since they redid the format to be the top 8 teams from both leagues since 1984. So the Pistons beat the Lakers, the Spurs beat the Cavs, the Mavs beat the Heat. And the Bucks are the number 3 seed, and the Suns are the number 2 seed. Rank this storyline. Is this whatever? Is this? I know you don't love conspiracies, but
Yeah, that's a 2 ace for me.
ooh, here's the 2. We haven't had a 2 yet. Or did we have a 2? I can't remember.
We haven't had a 1. The Boo Birds, though. You gotta love the Boo Birds.
Boo Birds.
Yeah, I mean, how many times does that happen? 3 times?
3 times since '84. So we're talking about 27 years. 3 times in 27 years. That's 1 out of every 9 times. So it's like a 17% chance. My wife is better at math than me. I don't remember.
I'm sure she'll get in here and tell us right now. Yeah, I mean, I don't really see a whole lot of stock into it. I mean, the only thing I can remotely think as to why that would make any sense is the 3 seed plays a better team in the third and the second round most of the time than the 2 seed does. But
so more competition is that you're saying?
Right,
which makes them better.
Which would make them. That's the only thing I can remotely think of that would make that make sense. So if I was trying to make it make sense and be like, oh, the 3 seed has a better shot, it's not like the NCAA tournament where you can just chalk it up. A 12 is going to beat a 5, right? Like, we know it. There's 4 of them. One's going to do it. Right. Yep. If we had like a bunch of 3 seeds and 2 seeds facing off each other, like if they had like 9 a year, then yeah, I'd probably pick 1 or 2, 3 seeds to do that. But 11.1%, Elizabeth says. So, yeah, I'd give it 2. Not super important. Hopefully we get a 1 here. I'm kind of interested to see what the 1 sound is now. I might just pick 1 just to freaking do it.
I mean, it's close to the 2. Okay. So we're talking about teams. These teams are pretty good when they get a big lead. The Suns are 11-0 when they get a double-digit lead. The Bucks are 10-1 in this postseason when they get a big lead.
Oh wow! I'm gonna be honest. That's a 5er again.
Woo-hoo! Yay! Yay!
Turn it up, baby. Yeah, bro. Because the big thing about that is, for some reason, and not for some reason, there's actually data points to tell you why, and I'll give you some. The pace of play and the amount of 3-pointers that get shot, literally, you can never be out of a ball game. Like, the Lakers were down like 27 points in the first half, and like only lost by like 11 against the Suns in Game 6. I mean, by all means, in the NBA now, they're doing everything possible, and I don't think this is by any means a way of the league doing it, like on purpose. I think this is just smarter people getting in leadership positions in the NBA to say, hey, listen, right? You could take a 2-pointer this many times or a 3-pointer this many times, and at these percentages and at these percentages, it just makes way more sense to take more 3-pointers. And if you shoot earlier in the shot clock, guess what? You're going to get more possessions, which means that you have a higher chance to hit that percentage, which means you have a higher chance to score more points. So, yeah, the fact that these teams both do so well when holding a lead is imperative. And the reason why they do, and you brought this up a few times today, is these teams play defense. A lot of teams that don't play defense run into these issues. And these teams also, not only do they play defense well against the 3-point line, which is imperative, right? Because if you get a team that just gets hot and starts yanking and starts hitting, they can get back in a ball game real quick.
Right. So far the score is 25 to the Suns, 22 to the Bucks. Suns are 2 from 7 from 3, and then the Bucks are 2 from 5 from 3. Just to give you some stats because you just literally mentioned that. Okay, right. I like the 5 there. Okay, so I saw this on ESPN, but PJ Tucker has eliminated a former teammate every round so far. Trevor Ariza in the first round, James Harden in this last round, Clint Capella. Was that Clint Capella? Yeah, Clint Capella. So,
yep.
yeah. So what do we think? What are we thinking there?
One ace.
Oh, just because you wanted to see it. Wise guy! Get out of here, wise guy!
Okay, it's actually like a 3 ace, to be honest.
Okay.
I just really wanted to hear what the one was. One thing you'll notice about that is all those players were on PJ Tucker's team when he was with Houston. Trevor Ariza, James Harden, Capella.
This close to winning it. Oh my god.
What were they? Ace. What? How far were they? They were a Chris Paul hamstring away, if you ask most people, from going up 3-1 in that series and winning that series, right?
Yep.
So and who's he gonna knock out? Chris Paul.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I might up it now. 4 aces. Make it 4 aces.
We're doing it. We're going to 4.
Give it to me. Yeah. Yeah. You got 3 of them in one just because I'm crazy like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I talked myself into an extra ace, bro. I mean,
that's 8 aces. Cue the sound.
We don't.
Yay! We're wild. Okay. Okay. So this is the last one. All
right.
And then we're done with this. Last team to win with no playoff experience. We're talking about the Bucks here. They have a shot to do it. Last team to win with no playoff experience was the 2014 Golden State Warriors, and they started a dynasty by doing so. Does this Bucks team have a shot to start a dynasty if they win? This series, this finals?
I'm gonna go 3 aces.
Ooh, there's the button. Little
trumpet there. Yeah.
It's like cartoon
Ryan
sound.
said I might as well make it 5. Yeah, right. I talking myself into it, Ryan. So I don't know if the Bucks can go on a dynasty. I mean, they've been very good over the last few years. They just never been able to get to this, threshold that they are now. They do have Chris Middleton, Giannis, and Drew Holiday all locked up for a good amount of time here. The next 3 years, these guys are going to be together. Now, what kind of makes me temper that expectation is just what I'm seeing around the NBA, right? The Brooklyn Nets are going to come back next year, and they're going to be very good, granted that they stay healthy. I think the Boston Celtics are a team that's going to be very good. You've already seen the Hawks play very well. We don't know what the Philadelphia 76ers are going to do. So I think there's a lot of teams in the East that can make it a little more difficult for the Bucks. I thought this year, based on the chemistry, based on the shortened season, it was pretty much a no-brainer to me that the Bucks were going to make it here. Now, granted, they did get some help with some injuries. Definitely not as much help as the Phoenix Suns did, but they did have a few, especially when you look at the Nets series. But I think there's a chance that they can keep this going. I think they're going to be a perennial playoff team going forward. Definitely vying for Eastern Conference Finals appearances and maybe another Finals, here in the next 3 years. But I just think there's so much more talent around the NBA. There's so much more talent specifically in the Eastern Conference that starting a dynasty, especially anything like the Warriors started, would be quite difficult.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, you got to see it before you believe it. So I'm with you. I don't think they're there, but it's nice to think that, hey, you got them locked down for a little bit longer. Chris Middleton has played 8 seasons with this team, so it does feel kind of potential, there's a good vibe there, because I know Draymond Green was on the Warriors team for a little bit, right before they started building all these components, and it kind of be a cool thing to see this team do it. But I think maybe they're one more amazing playmaker away from kind of being there, so that's fair enough. Okay. Let's predict. Prediction time. Andrew's not here, so if he's still listening and he's in the comment section, throw your prediction out here, Andrew. I will let myself go first. Why not? Okay. Haven't thought about this before. I was
gonna say Giannis is playing now, so I mean he looks good. I've been peeping over. If you see my eyes wander, that's what I'm doing, just peeping over. He looks good. Looks like he's good.
I'm gonna go with the Greek Freak. I'm gonna say the all of the goddesses from, Athens history is going to be imbuing Giannis's hamstring and feet and legs and fingers with bolts of lightning from Zeus himself. The Hades hell fire will burst through his playing style. He'll play fantastic. The Bucks will win, and then I'll say they'll do it in, get this, because I'm a wild man, in 5 games.
Whoa, 5?
5.
Wow.
Okay. I don't thread this needle, bro. I'm with it to the end.
Right.
If I think you're gonna win, you're gonna do it in 4 or 5. Don't be playing these 7-game series.
Right. It's a lot easier too if you pick in 7. Oh man. Yeah.
Ryan says Bucks in 6. Andrew says Bucks in 7.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be the only person that picks the Phoenix Suns?
Hell no. Hell no.
Hell to the no.
No. Yeah, I'm still riding with the Bucks, bro. I got him in 6 as well. I would go 7 like Andrew, but listen, let's be honest, Andrew. If you're picking 7, you really just think 6, but you're just giving yourself an extra game for some cushion, right? Don't get me wrong. I know what's up. Don't worry, I got a big brain here. I say Bucks in 6, bro. I think the Bucks are too talented. I think they've been together too long. The chemistry's too good there. At the end of the day, I think that Drew Holiday is really, really. I mean, if I had to pick a point guard to match up with Chris Paul, it's probably going to be Drew Holiday on both ends of the floor. Drew Holiday is, a little bit bigger than Chris Paul. I'd argue Drew Holiday is one of the best defensive point guards in the league. He's probably like the top 2 or 3 defensive point guards in the league. So, yeah, I'll definitely say the Bucks in 6. Oh, Amanda with the Suns in 7. Let's go.
Right? Doesn't that mean the Suns are going to win, Ryan?
Wait. Is that because we all picked them, Ryan, or are you bashing the big dog here, saying that because I picked the Bucks? Because either way, you're not wrong.
I think if we're going back here, I think when Andrew's got his beautiful little chart, but I think every time we've picked a consensus, they have won. So we'll see.
Except the Lakers. I know that for a fact. For a fact. We all had the Lakers.
Let me hit my head against the wall. Okay, well technically we're not right then, but we probably have been perfect since then. Okay, and then that probably does mean the Suns are going to win. Whatever. Okay, no, because we all picked them. Yeah,
right.
For sure.
Well, or me, Ryan. I'm telling you, once football starts coming, bro, and if you want to make money, right? Play DraftKings, play DFS, and I'm gonna have like a 2-2, 3-3 pick 'em. Whatever 3-3 or 2-2 I pick that day. Construct your lineup like I do, because normally I get some good. I got the bullet. The main plays are normally great, right? It's just my 2v2 or 3v3. I'm gonna be wrong every time. I'm gonna be wrong. I'm gonna think about playing Jamison Crowder, not play Jamison Crowder, and he's gonna score 2 touchdowns when the Jets don't really need it. That's just what happens all the time. Chalk it up. Asa knows he did DFS with me this year. Joe's gonna be doing DFS with us this year too, Ace. So Joe, I don't know if you'll be on the show. I'll definitely try to tell him if I can get on here, because we do all the research together anyway. Yeah.
All right. Well, with that being said, the two of us have talked enough. Thanks for tuning in, guys. That'll be it probably for this week's of shows. So we'll hit you guys next week. We'll probably do a little double header, no, we're not going to do double header, but we'll do a couple shows, I think, next Monday and Tuesday as well. Hit you guys with probably a baseball buzz and another court sessions episode until we get to this off season with basketball, and then we'll throw some wild ideas for shows out there. But thanks for tuning in, guys. We appreciate the love and support as always. You guys are the best. Better than us. Better than we'll ever be. But we'll try to live up to your expectations. So until we see you guys again, have a good rest of your night. Bye.
Thank you, guys.
I think this show got 5 aces, right? Yay!
Absolutely.